Imagine a peaceful town, free of crime, where families still leave their doors open at night and children play freely in the streets. Now imagine an unusual horror scene, a calm night turned into a true bloodbath. This was the fate of Villisca, Iowa, on June 9, 1912, when the Moore family and 2 visiting children were brutally murdered while sleeping. And the most disturbing part? The killer was never caught. On the morning of June 10, 1912, the town of Villisca woke up to a macabre scene. One of the Moore children, Lynn, did not show up for school. Concerned, the neighbors tried to enter the house to check what was going on. When the door was finally forced open, they found a scene of horror. The bodies of the Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, their children Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul, were scattered throughout the house, their bodies covered by sheets, as if they were sleeping. But they weren't. They had all been killed while asleep, with fatal blows from an axe. In addition to the Moores, the 2 children who were visiting the family that night, Ina and Lena Stillinger, were also among the victims. As if the crime itself wasn't terrifying enough, the scene showed that the killer had stayed in the house after committing the murders. He had a meal with milk and other food found in the kitchen, and there were no signs that he rushed to flee. What most frightened the investigators and the community was the way the crime was carried out. The violence was extreme, with axe blows hitting the victims while they were completely vulnerable, lying in a sleep. There were no signs of struggle or cries for help, raising the hypothesis that the killer knew exactly what he was doing and had some form of control over the victims. During the investigation, many mysterious aspects emerged, leaving authorities without definitive answers. The axe used in the murders was found inside the house, but without any identifying marks, making it difficult to trace its origin. No fingerprints were found, and there were no obvious signs of forced entry, suggesting that the victim or victims knew the killer. Several suspects were investigated, but none were conclusively found guilty. One of the main suspects was Reverend George Kelly, a man who had been seen at the victim's house the night of the crime. Kelly was arrested but was released due to lack of solid evidence. Another suspect was a man named Frank Jones, a powerful local businessman who had personal reasons to want the Moore family dead due to a dispute over a business matter. Beyond the blood and violence, the most disturbing part was what happened after the murders. After committing the crimes, the killer seemingly settled into the house. He cleaned the axe, covered the bodies with sheets, and even had a meal in the kitchen. On the dining table, a glass of milk and a plate of food were found, suggesting that the criminal wasn't in a hurry and had spent some time in the house after the massacre. The most horrifying part? The police concluded that he sat and rested while observing the scene of terror, as if satisfied with what he had done. Although the case was investigated for years, it was never solved. The house where the murders took place became a paranormal tourist attraction, with many visitors claiming that the killer's spirit still haunts the place. To this day, people report feeling uncomfortable or hearing strange sounds when visiting the house, fueling the idea that Villisca is cursed. The case remains one of the greatest criminal mysteries in the United States, with several books, documentaries, and investigative shows trying to uncover what really happened that night. Some theorists believe the killer could have been someone with some kind of psychological disorder who wanted to cause suffering and fear, while others suggest the crime was related to personal revenge involving family or business disputes. But to this day, no one knows for sure. The Villisca murders left an indelible mark on the town and the country. The details of the crime, the bizarre behavior of the killer, and the complete lack of answers continue to intrigue both historians and criminologists. And the most horrifying part, the killer was never captured. The truth remains a shadow, and Villisca, a town once known for its calm, was never the same again. What would you do if you were one of the witnesses to the case, and if the killer was never found. The brutality of this crime and the mystery it represents make the story of Villisca not just a case of murder, but a true obsession. A mystery that, to this day, haunts the hearts of those who dare to revisit the dark details of that horrible night. Like, share, and comment if you want more stories like this.